maybe the hard part is ask a good question kindly, right? If you need practice with that, I've been doing it for a long time. I still need to pause, but you can whisper in my ear and I'll say it kindly, help you practice, but that's the main rule. I put this one up here for Joel, which is you also can't see, but it says, none of the softball questions, he loves them. It's kind, but it's not always the kind thing to do. Sometimes asking a hard question is the kinder thing to do. So what's your hard question for me, Joel? That's the question. How is it being partially employed or underemployed? It's good, actually. Still stressful, right? I think we all have financial commitments. So even folks I know with lots of money, like a lot of people are like, oh, you got $100 million. That must make life easier. I promise you, those people have a hard time too. Their problems are similar but different than mine. For me, being underemployed still has stress. But I get to hang out with my kids. You know, what did we do? Fall break was up, so I got to spend time with them. I went to lunch, made some money at lunch. So for me, underemployed is good most of the time. Yeah, not all the time. Jake, how are we coming?
Oh, we're streaming now.
Okay.
We're live.
Do you want me to stay on, or are you going to take it back over? Okay.
I don't want to tempt fate.
Okay. I'll stop stalling. Thanks to 3 Cups. I don't see Scott here this morning, but thank you for them, for the coffee, for the space. We couldn't do this without them. My country company on Sucker, we're buying coffee for everybody this month and today, so enjoy a cup of coffee. And I'll switch to the first presentation with Sinead. Sinead, come on up. Maybe. There it is. Big form. Okay, how about a big round of applause?
Lovely to see everybody this morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Right. My name is Sinead Irwin. I'm a functional nutritionist and work wellness coach. So I work with my clients to identify what the root causes are of their health issues, whether it's physical or mental, emotional, and figure out what we need to change in terms of nutrition in the form of food, drinks, supplements, and also crucial lifestyle factors like sleep, exercise, stress management, reducing negativity, increasing positivity. So a little bit about my background. So I was born and bred in Ireland, studied at Trinity College Dublin, studied business studies in German, and after university I left Ireland to move to Amsterdam, where I was managing treasury for Acer Computers. And not long after that, I was recruited by Citigroup in Amsterdam to manage the foreign exchange exposure of multinational corporations like Soap, GlaxoSmith, and Unilever. Then moved on to do that on a bigger scale in London. I absolutely loved that world, but it's definitely, the stress definitely exacerbated a lot of health issues that had started in me as a young teenager. Started with chronic depression and it manifested itself into a lot of physical issues and eventually becoming autoimmune disease and intestinal disorders. So, but I've always been a huge believer in the power of the body to heal, given the right tools. So I started delving into researching like what my body and my mind did to heal and feel good. So then, as a family, we had the opportunity to move to New York, and I was having my sons and raising them at the time, so I stopped my corporate investment banking role to raise them and to go back to my master's in holistic wellness so that I could have the credibility to help other people heal the way I had. And so then 9 years ago, we moved to Salt Lake City and I set up my consulting business. So now I help clients heal anything from digestive disorders to pain to skin issues, anxiety, depression, pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, the autoimmune diseases, eating disorders, the whole gamut. So because of my background and my love for the corporate world, I've always wanted to figure out a way of bringing health to organizations, to the corporate world. And this year, I came across a company called Nuvita, and they have a phenomenal platform in the form of an app. And so now I've joined forces with them because I can utilize their app to scale what I do amongst organizations and corporations. So what I do with clients works. So now I'm scaling it across companies.
Screen.
The light great, but never mind. So you might ask, okay, why should we care about health within corporations? So the statistics don't paint a pretty picture. 78% of workers surveyed said that COVID negatively impacted their health. Over 10% of employees are diabetic, and over 40% are pre-diabetic. 60% of our employees are overweight or obese. 80% say that work-related stress negatively impacts their health. And over 70% struggle with work-life balance. Now, the really great news is that 73% of people really want to find ways to feel better. Nobody wants to feel as bad as they feel. Everybody wants to show up to work and to life with their A game. They just need help figuring out why. Right? So the beautiful thing about joining forces with Nuvita with this app is that they've been implementing this in corporations for over 12 years in big companies nationwide, companies like Pfizer, Novartis, Lilly. So my clients then get the national experience from Nuvita, with also the hands-on local presence with me. So I'm sure you've heard of companies, or maybe even your own company, try to implement wellness incentives like, gym memberships or, 10,000 steps challenges or whatever it is. The problem is the participation rate is so low that it's not making the overall impact on the wealth of the company. Right? We need higher participation rate to make a difference. So my program gets that participation rate. The average is 4 times the participation rate of the market average. And the way we do that is by making it totally inclusive. This applies to anybody from like top C-suite management to ground level staff. I talk about topics that are relevant to people and that people want to hear about. I really care. It's a very personal approach. So, is it? So I deal with people on a one-on-one basis to really figure out what the root causes are of their issues and formulate personal plans that are going to be realistic and achievable to them and sustainable. It's a fun approach because the app that they use is fun, easy to use, and high tech. And because so many of their team or employees are also using it, it's fun and it just creates a sense of belonging and a sense of team within the company. So everyone wants to be their better selves, the better you. So if you think that your company cares about, and is empathetic towards issues that you're dealing with that are almost debilitating to you. So let's say, so you're unable to, you're gaining weight and unable to lose it. If your company can show empathy and really care about you being your better you, feeling more confident within your body, or if you're suffering from energy or sleep issues, and you want to feel vibrant and obsessed for life again, to show, for your company to show that they really care, is going to go a long way. So we as humans convince ourselves of anything really to stop us from doing something. So with this program, I've overcome three of the biggest excuses we make to ourselves, three of the biggest obstacles. One is I've tried everything before and nothing's worked. Right? How many diets have we tried before? How many health plans have we tried before and they haven't worked? This one works because it really identifies what your specific root causes are, your specific symptoms and health conditions, right? And then formulating a plan that's going to work for you. Another excuse is, oh, I'm going to have to give up what I love, I'm going to be miserable, this is going to be awful. I do not believe in deprivation, restriction, dieting, anything like that. I believe in eating and living for nutrient density and aiming to make the healthiest choices as often as we can, rather than being occasionally. There's no such thing as perfection. Anybody who tells you that they do have the perfect, food intake or lifestyle is always something. Another excuse is, oh, I don't have the time or the motivation. The app part of it makes it super easy, super efficient to use, and super fun. Takes that excuse. Let's talk about what it actually involves. Start with the app side of things. So as I said earlier, the work I do with clients gets incredible results, right, in terms of healing their health issues. So now, the way I can scale it with the app is that a lot of the information that I'm sharing with people is generic, if you think about it. So via the app, I can share that information, and that frees up my time to really focus on what the individual specific issues are. So what the app does is it tracks nutrition. So literally, you download the app onto your phone, you take a picture of your meal or a snack, whatever it is, and you rate it, giving it the thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down, in terms of how healthy an option is it that I've made at this time. Again, I don't believe in measuring food, counting calories, anything like that, which is what a lot of the apps do. This is literally take a picture and rate it, right? Then we track exercise by you sync up a heart rate monitor to the app, and that measures the number of minutes you spend in each of the heart rate zones. And I formulate personalized plans for people to determine how often I want them, or what percentage of the workout time I want them to spend in each of the zones. Right? On average, it would be about 20% of the time in the 85% plus zone, so the top orange zone, because that's where the more time you spend there, the more the body continues to feel the benefits of exercise for up to 36 hours after. And then, so there's a smart scale also that syncs to the app, which is how people can monitor their, percentage body fat and their weight. The beauty behind it all is whenever they load anything up to the app, I can see it on my side as their coach. So I can go in and, keep them accountable, send them bits of advice, all that kind of stuff. I can do that on an individual basis, but also I can group coach people that way. So I can send batch messages like that, but it looks like it's coming to each individual personalized because of its own name. But the beauty behind that is that saves up my time then to focus on, okay, why is this person having digestive disorders? Why we've tried a lot of things. Why is this person not able to lose weight? What's triggering this person's anxiety, right? Which is where the real healing comes in. We also on the app, I can upload, information material on there that I think will benefit people, recipes, workouts, or whatever I want them to use to help them heal. So you might be thinking, oh, my HR people have enough to do, I can't possibly give them a job. So we do the heavy lifting for you. So we organize email campaigns, social media, presentations, all of that kind of stuff. I'll also sit down with you to help determine what the best incentives are for your corporate culture. So whether it's reduced insurance premiums or more health days or whatever it is. And also we keep in touch with you on a weekly basis, sending you reports as to the level of participation amongst your people. So I deal with real people and get real results. I've helped people reverse pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, move themselves further away from chronic disease by reducing inflammation, changing up their lifestyles. I've helped people get the energy and mental clarity that they had 20 years ago. I've helped people lose weight, couldn't lose weight, and doing any other method. So many symptoms. This really works, and now with the help of new data to scale this amongst corporations, think of your employees showing up to work, but they're not actually there. They're either tired, they've got no energy, they've got some debilitating, pains, digestive disorders, they're depressed. How can we possibly show up as our best selves if that's what we're showing up with? And again, this platform has been rolled out to some big corporations who have amazing results. So the wealth of our organizations starts with the health of our people. If we can invest in generational health, then think of the generational wealth we're building. And think of if our people are showing up with their A game to work, think of how much more profitable, how much more productive they're going to be. Think of how much of an enviable corporate culture we can build if people are vibrant and showing up with zest for life that everybody deserves to show up. Thank you so much.
All right. Questions, thoughts, feedback? Steph, first one for you.
First, I love this. I mean, you're spot on. Companies can attach ROI to employee wellness, and I love that you mentioned that you are actually tracking utilization. I mean, to anybody in HR and to anybody on the finance team, like they want to be able to measure who's even using it. My question for you, sorry, Rob, what is it that you need help with from us?
And using the microphone.
Sorry. Awesome. That is the way of. Yeah. So clients, I want to get into. Introductions to CEOs, and HR managers. This works. What I do works with clients. I just need introductions to people who can make it happen.
So you believe if you can get into the room, if they can work and get you in that room, you're going to close them 80% of the time.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So all they have to do is market directly to them, send them letters, email, and everything else, get you in the room, and you'll close it.
Yeah.
So what are your what's the first step? So you get in front of people or they get referred to you. What's your process for moving them through to the close?
Yeah. So I would go through a presentation like this with them, explain why we're doing it. I'm a huge believer in why. If we understand our why, then the rest follows, right? So to really make them see, okay, this is what your people are showing up like. It's, they're physically present, but there's something called presenteeism, right? Where you show up to work. There's a reason why we're not showing up with their A game. We show up, we're just running the treadmill of life. We feel like crap, we're depressed, we haven't slept the night before, we're not dealing with stress. We can't possibly perform in any aspect of life if that's what we're showing up as our life continuously. So the more I can get them to understand their why, then I think the rest, because the rest speaks for itself. I could give them a million different testimonies, and that will speak for itself. And then it's a case of incentivizing their employees to download the app, get started on the app, and it's super cool, fun, easy to use. It's not like you're measuring food or counting calories or anything like that. So it's easy and it's not going to take people any time. And actually, when they track their exercise using the heart rate monitor, it really incentivizes people to push themselves harder. I mean, I pushed myself pretty hard exercising when I started using the heart rate monitor. And then I pushed myself even harder because it's like, damn, I need to spend more time with words. And then they have the ongoing accountability through Z. So I really sit down with them and think, okay, what is it that's triggering your anxiety? Why aren't you sleeping? And let's nail that. Once we know those things.
I'm just curious, have you spoken with co-working spaces? There's like so many people, right, that I think want benefits and they're shopping around which co-working spaces fits for me. Then of course, when they grow, they take those companies into bigger spaces. And now they could increase your users quite a bit, maybe.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. You mean places like Kiln?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have contacts with the Kiln, so that is definitely on my list. No, I think it's a good idea. Thank you. Yeah, totally. Thank you.
We got time for one more. Mike was saying something about coders and the same thing, which is right up your alley. So between these entrepreneurs and coders that sit at their desk all the time.
Well, mine is for the diet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go for it.
So this is more of a comment. If you aren't connected to SHRM on a national level, they've been rolling out a lot of wellness initiatives. And somebody introduced me to a wellness company in Washington, and I just saw that they just rolled something out with the national SHRM and that CEO. So that's a big, broad audience that you should be targeting.
Yeah, I've been going to some of their networking events. But yeah, I'll get more involved.
There's a diet that coders suggest, which is like we get up at 10 o'clock. Then we go to work, right? And we eat stuff. It's not really food, but it's stuff. And it's, there's a lot. We're out. Wait, we're back. Okay. It's a monster. It's some chips. It's some other stuff. And we'll go 3 days. But it's not good and healthy. And my machine is people don't stop doing caffeine and stuff. Am I evil or is that?
Okay, we all have our vices, including me, right? So I do not believe in perfection. It doesn't exist. If we can make the healthiest choices we can 70% of the time, 80% of the time, 90% of the time, wherever we are on our individual journey, then that's a huge plus. I always think there are ways around keeping some of our vices in. If yours is potato chips or whatever it is, then let's work around it and let's figure out ways of minimizing the damaging effects of those things. Yes,
Have you seen a 26-year-old male coder the way that he sits at the desk?
yeah, but they don't see what they're going to be like when they're 50s. But I help them see that. There's the magic of food. If we can work with food, because different food affects the body in different ways. If we can manipulate that, then we're seeing.
I think it's great. We need more of it, for sure. I think it's a crowded space. So I'd be interested a little bit to know about who you're partnering with. Is it a white label? Are you paying for a percentage? So it's a crowded space. So my biggest question to push back is how do you differentiate? There's lots of chicken sandwich places. Obviously, there's new ones opening up here. There's lots of restaurants, 7-Elevens on different corners that are still successful. So competition is not a bad thing, but trying to find your space and market and differentiate, I think, is always a challenge for everybody. So I'll ask a two-sided question, which is how are we going to differentiate and what can we do for you?
There aren't any other programs out there that offer the level of individualized healing support that I do. I literally will go through a client's symptoms and then their complete food intake, the daily basis, their sleep, their exercise, where the stresses in their lives, how are they managing, the whole gamut, and literally join the dots between how they're feeling and how they're living, and make realistic, sustainable, achievable changes to their food and lifestyle habits to give their bodies what they need to heal. There are millions of apps out there. The only reason I need the app is so that I can scale the level of healing that I'm offering to people. What I do works on an individual basis. Now I want to help more people. The app will help deal with a lot of the accountability and generic information side of it. So that frees up my time to really drill into what the root causes are of this issue. Yeah.
Awesome. And what can we do? I heard intros was one thing that you need help with. Is there something else that our community and folks here in this room could do that would make a difference?
Lots of intros.
Okay, intros. Awesome. Okay, let's give Sinead a big round of applause. Ooh, welcome. Yeah. I always like to say, I don't know, who else can give this spiel today? Who's heard me say it often enough? Okay, that's what we'll start doing cameos of people doing the cup gifting. I think it's a funny way to do it, but it makes me smile when other people can say it. I forget what I walked into the other day, and they were joking about a coffee cup, and they're like, it keeps hot things hot, cold things cold. I was like, I appreciate that, where we're at. Okay, so sometimes the universe shows up in funny ways, and today, I think, is one of those ways, which is totally unplanned, but very fortunate of how the world works, is we have another female founder and entrepreneur here, also sharing an idea in the wellness space. So Holly is here with the brain trainer, so let's give Holly a big round of applause.
All right, Holly Stokes is the brain trainer, and also today is Corporate Wellness Day. So the brain trainer, I've been operating this business for the last 17 years, since 2006, and been working with people more individually. The concept is a lot of the things that we think are huge problems can actually be broken down into a series of brain habits. So, for example, people who have anxiety, it feels out of control. But your brain is actually running certain patterns that tell your mind to jack up that nervous system and run that anxiety pattern. Under the surface, we can recognize anxiety has multiple components. Fear pattern, worry pattern, and depending on the individual, their brain is running something in the background. So, working with people in changing brain habits and patterns, the brain can actually learn new patterns very quickly. And my business and programs are education-based, and we look at what are the brain habits, how can we shift those to help people be more at choice with their emotional system, and also how they're showing up in the world. So the corporate wellness program, I'm bringing this to the corporate space to increase awareness and education, especially in the last few years since COVID. There's been a lot of extra stress on people in the workplace and in their home space. Part of this could also be alleviated through the education. So the importance of corporate wellness programs, for most people, the workspace is where they are living half of their lives. So if we recognize in a 40-hour work week, 40 of those hours are at work, 40 hours are at sleep, and the other 40 are at home, so at 120 hours. So it's kind of this space where you're living most of your life, and then when you're home, you're taking care of things like food and restocking your environment, taking care of your relationships. But we can make a bigger impact with people in the corporate wellness programs. So, of course, employee well-being, as people think better, feel better, and are showing up better, it improves their health, it improves their vitality, it can also improve their communication. It's boosting their productivity and reducing healthcare costs. And I have also a statistic that really highlights the impact of healthcare and the result of stress on that. So, especially especially in the last few years, some of these challenges have increased. The stress, long, sedentary lifestyle, we've been doing this since computers came around, most of our time sitting in front of a computer. Poor nutrition, just not making healthy choices because we've been prioritizing convenience. And especially in the workplace, there may be more convenient options rather than healthy options. And then mental health, especially in the last few years, mental health has definitely felt the impact of more people experiencing more stress, more anxiety, more depression, and a lot less resources available for the mental health support. So if we can help people create an impact through education and awareness, we can actually take the burden off of the mental health space if people have more access to this education, how to manage their brain at a very fundamental level. So here's some statistics. Work-related costs, $300 billion per year in absenteeism, turnover, and productivity. 40% of employees say their job is extremely stressful, and 26% reported burnout on the job. So as business owners, many of you know that it takes a lot more time and energy to replace and train an employee. So there are these lots of costs to the employer. We also know, according to the Center for Disease Control, 90% of doctor visits are actually caused, at least partially, due to stress. And all of the major leading causes of disease, stroke, heart-related disease, obesity, all of these correlate with high stress as well. There's also a direct influence between when people are more stressed, it actually has an effect on their immune system. So they're more likely to pick up sickness and illness and to spread it in the workplace as well. So of course the benefits of running corporate wellness programs, improved health and well-being, it's really the education and awareness piece that I am promoting and creating within the organization. Enhanced employee engagement, increased retention and recruitment. If you have a happy, healthy work base, then you have a happy, healthy culture, and people are more likely to want to work in a happy, healthy environment rather than a negative, toxic workplace. So of course the benefits for the employees are their personal health, their well-being, less mental health issues and challenges. We know there's a direct correlation between how high stress people are and their mental health issues. So it's definitely a piece that we can leverage, and specifically leverage with very simple and easy tools. And then of course for the employer, increased less burnout, increased retention, and more productivity in the workplace as well. So here's the Brain Trainer workshops. Each of these categories or workshops are, one is a lunch and learn, where we go in and educate about simple tools that people can use to start changing their brain habits or to be managing that more. So the first one, easy stress relief tools for your brain. And there is also on the back end of this, there is also a 4-week kind of longer term training and awareness for the employees if the corporation chooses to go with the expanded education. So the mindfulness, easy stress relief tools for your brain. There's actually been research, a lot of research coming out about meditation. 20 positive benefits for your brain these are scientifically proven benefits of meditation. And it actually changes your brain. They've done these studies with MRIs to recognize that through a meditation practice, your brain will actually change to improve compassion, connection, and decrease loneliness and isolation, which loneliness and isolation are some of the highest reported challenges in the mental health space. The next one is understanding people and brain styles. So in this 4-week series we do in the Lunch and Learn, it's an introduction to understanding the different brain styles and how those brain styles then change our choice of how we communicate, how to learn how others communicate, and to translate what we want to say into their language so that they can hear us better and more clearly. And then in the 4-week format of this, we also include that emotional intelligence component. How do we not only understand brain styles, but also understand that emotional intelligence and work with that in a way that's healthy in the workplace as well. And then conflict to communication and unified vision. So that also is a continuation on the theme. If we can manage our brain style, if we can manage our emotional system, and then we can communicate more clearly, we can have better communication and also more connection and healthier workplaces by better clarity and communication. So it's a 5-step process for getting started. Simply looking for connections with HR departments. You choose which topic or program you would want an introduction to your employees. Then we choose a date and time. There's a little bit of templates that we send out, or the HR department often sends out. A little bit of education before the event happens so that people know to go and show up, and that the employees are specifically going to benefit from what we share in these education programs. And then enjoying the program, but then also at the end doing a little bit of follow-up feedback and continued use within the workplace. So there's a link here for getting started with the wellness program, thebraintrainerllc.com/speaking has some of the flyers and the application for filling out the form, and then one of our representatives will connect with you about which program topic, which education topic would be best for your workspace, according to which challenges you're addressing. Thank you.
Awesome. Questions, thoughts, feedback? Partly, it's fascinating, right? We had 2 corporate wellness presentations, so some similarities, some differences. So I'll start with the first one, which is the same for Sinead, which is obviously it brings it front of mind when there's 2 presenting back to back. But how do you differentiate? Who's your target market? Like, who are the folks you're like, oh, these are the ones that need it the most, or that seem to resonate with the most, and how do you differentiate? What makes you guys special at the Brain Trainer?
I'm going to put on my recorder so I can record these questions.
Not a terrible idea. Rob's recording too.
We're also
look it up.
recording.
We got it on. We got a couple, but you should. Redundancy is a good thing.
Never record too much, right?
True.
Okay, how do I differentiate? Really differentiate by the focus of what I share is the brain training and simple, easy tools that people can start using right away. It is education based. I'm looking to create an easy, like the Lunch and Learn, an easy introduction so the workplace can experience these tools and skills, and then from there understand what it looks like to have host a 4-week series for their employees.
Okay.
So probably like ease of use, education based. There is science and research also backing this as well as far as the tools that I share.
Awesome. Other thoughts?
I think you also asked that question, what size company am I looking for? So kind of a small business, but business workspaces with 50 employees is kind of the starting space for this.
So great presentation to both of you guys. And this is kind of a comment for both. So there's a lot, again, as we all know, there's a lot in the corporate wellness space. And I think, thinking about, why do you go after corporates? Of course, they're the ones that will have the financial capabilities to be able to afford this, and they'll get the benefit from their employees being more productive, more healthy, very relatively straightforward, very well understood. Just wanted to offer a potential thing to think about in terms of other spaces to consider, because I'm sure everyone knows we have a somewhat broken healthcare system in this country, and one of the interesting spaces is in the Medicare or Medicaid space. How that system works is for the insurers, think like Blue Cross Blue Shield, healthcare, whatever, they're paid a flat fee to manage that. So, and how they make money is, okay, say we give you $20,000 to manage Rob's health for the year. If it's more than $20,000, that's on you. If it's less than $20,000, you keep that. So they are incentivized from the insurance standpoint to have you be as healthy as possible, so you go to the doctor less, you have less costs, so they keep as much as possible. So I know this is probably pretty far reach, but it's maybe something for both of you to consider of if you can get into even some smaller healthcare insurance providers that work in the Medicaid space, they would be highly incentivized to not really go my employees healthier so they can be more productive and I'm able to retain them. There's absolute benefits there, but that's more so my patients healthier, I directly make more money off of them by spending a small amount of money up front. So love what both you're doing, but definitely something to consider. If you have any thoughts in that space.
Yeah, I love that. So what is the kind of contact that in that system that you're suggesting I look for? Is it Medicare itself or the insurance companies that
The insurance
contract?
provider.
The insurance what?
The insurance provider.
Okay, so the specific insurance companies.
Right, yeah, we can talk more after.
Oh, wonderful. That would be great, thank you.
Other thoughts, feedback?
To me, I wouldn't target the below 50. I would target 50 and over because they have ESG initiatives and other things like that. But I also can see that many of these programs end up being like gender flex, where females really would engage with it, and a lot of males may think that it's being inflicted on them. And how are you going to overcome that? Because there's been a lot of stuff that's recently happened. Maybe you're aware that a lot of people are cutting off the DEI and all the other programs. And when I'd be marketing, I'd be those corporations that are required to have the DEI initiatives, also the ESG. I don't know if you know what those are, but that's okay. ESG is like equity.
Diversity, inclusion, and that other thing, equity. Yeah, equity, that's it. So there's a lot of diversity. So I think part of what, I was thinking the same thing is, for both you guys, corporate wellness, we're in a recessionary period where not only layoffs are happening, but any kind of efficiency is being cut. So although maybe I would argue in America we need more of these programs because people aren't doing it as well, corporations aren't spending as much money. In fact, they're cutting programs and people. So how do you attack this market in maybe a non-traditional way, or knowing that the extra budgets for efficiency are being cut in the corporate space?
So yes, my focus is really the education piece, and corporates are a good model because people are already gathered there. So creating an easy way for them to say yes, lunch and learns at no cost for the first one, and then rolling into continued programs. There are also insurance incentives. So if you make it financially some kind of financial payoff or kickback, then that can incentivize the corporate program as well. So I think the comment about looking with the insurance companies, looking at what could be incentivized or what are the big employers of that, what kind of relationships you can create there.
Yeah, I think that's great. Go ahead. You give Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Rob Realty from the and he's got swag over there.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
So, I love the brain stuff.
Thank you.
But you didn't ask about the LP
Yes. Yes. And I did have a Well, I understand how sometimes people feel resistant to change. So really it is a marketing piece. When we get a contract with the HR department, then part of that marketing is what do people get from attending this presentation, which really have to market that to what their interests are. So things like how to get more of what you want, people, personality, persuasion, when people understand that they can communicate in a way that they can be heard and work well with others, and there's recognizing specific benefits that they would want, reasons that they would want to attend and go.
What I was specifically asking from
From a female perspective.
Maybe you guys can follow up afterwards and you can ask a
Yeah,
deeper
thank
question
you.
on it. Yeah. So with it, you got the mug already. Michael, thank you for bringing other stuff to thank our guests. But with our mug, what I like to say with it is it's kind of magic because it keeps hot things hot and cold things cold. In Utah, we need things to deliver caffeine in both methods. But more importantly, the magic is asking for help. Oftentimes, as a founder, as an entrepreneur, asking for help is the hardest part. And although more connections and money are the two common things people ask for, nothing wrong with asking for those things, but I think sometimes there's something else we need help with that is one layer below. So if our community, if one person or multiple people in this room did something that would make a difference for you, what would that thing be? How could we help?
So specifically, I am looking for feedback about this presentation. If there is anything that you notice I should tweak or expand on, and then also the connections. I love the mention about insurance companies, or often there's a lot of institutions like Medicare, Medicaid that have those structures. So if you have connections for places that I could connect or even collaborate with, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. So if you got feedback, thoughts about it, what I love is we had two presentations, so there are some similarities, but also some clear differences. So to give some of that feedback. And then, if somebody or have some ideas about markets, sounds like Holly's open to it. So let's give Holly a big round of applause.
Thank you.
If you can stick around for a few.
I just thought I'd mention this. My presentation was created last night with AI. It was amazing. I did it. It saved me 2 hours of time. So,
Awesome.
AI is out there.
It is, yeah, absolutely. Definitely something, if you're not leveraging, I think more and more people are seeing that, so hopefully you're aware of it. Okay, Oz, you came up, just helping out. Sinead's got some flyers here, so come grab one, stick around. Sinead's gonna stick around as well. So thanks for everybody for being here. Happy Wednesday. Part of what I love, right, is on Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m., I haven't seen Robert for a little while. He's like, hey, I thought we did pitches. He hasn't been for a while, so maybe he forgot. But also, each day is different, right? Sometimes people show up with an idea and no slides. We're gonna support those folks too, right? Maybe they're just brainstorming an idea, so don't be afraid to come share. You don't need slides. Sometimes people are actually pitching because they're trying to win money or they're about to present somewhere or they've got investors they're trying to get their head around. Sometimes people are just sharing their company and what they're working on and their sales pitch. All those things are totally fine and encouraged. So if you're maybe in tech or somewhere other than corporate wellness, I can see how maybe you're oh, this isn't applicable to me. But I'm going to challenge and push back. Not only is it applicable to you, there was two of them, right? Back to back. So what did you learn, right? When people are up here presenting, having the adrenaline kick in and all the stuff that happens to your body that you don't have much control over, that is a big thing that you have to learn through. A lot of people, when they think, oh, I can get up and share, when you stand up here, all that stuff goes out the window, right? So half of it is giving people space to do that and to learn what's gonna happen to them, because you don't know until you do it. And it's okay, we're a friendly group, so even if you lose everything and forget and go somewhere else, it's all right. You only get better by learning. But besides that, right, the people up here are learning, but there's an opportunity for each of you as well, right? What did you notice in one that you liked? What did you notice in one that could have been different or better? What can you take from today that applies to your business or your idea, right? You might not be in corporate wellness, but I promise you, I learned some things today, and you should be applying some of that same stuff to your stuff. So if you checked out, if you hit social media, if you were like, oh, this is not me, I strongly disagree. And you should come talk to me afterwards, because I think today was great, because we got to see two different versions side by side, and it's never as easy as it looks. And even if you're doing something different and it doesn't feel like it's related, it totally is. So that's part of the magic of this space. It's part of the magic and what I appreciate you guys about being here, right? You guys help create this space. I can do it with people, just me and them. But it's a whole lot different when it's all of us and them. And if you've been thinking about sharing and you haven't applied yet, and you haven't said, oh, I should get up there and share an idea, today is a good reminder. Yeah, good. It's not quite as easy as it looks, and that's part of the learning, right? It doesn't matter what you're sharing. You could share your cookie recipe for all I care. Tell people about who you are, what you're up to, what you enjoy, what you need help with. That's how we grow a community. So thank you for being part of it. Thank you for holding the space for folks. Thank you for learning, and thanks for being part of this community. So happy Wednesday. Hope to see many, if not all of you, next week. And be safe on Halloween coming up here soon. We've got two great presentations. We're partnering with Beat School next week. It's Design Week here in Utah. So we've got two presentations that are going to both be focused on design. Hopefully one is going to be this cool car company, Legend. So we've got them teed up. I'm trying to dial it in to make sure it happens because it's busy. And then our friends over at Underbelly, Anthony's going to be here and talk about what design looks like. So hope to have you guys back next week for Design Week. And thanks for B School and Mo for partnering with us on stuff like that. And then Michael is going to give away a couple gift cards. So anybody that's new, put your hand up.
Put your hand up. Are you new?
We're going to incentivize you for showing up with $5 caffeine from Beans and Brews. Or
Yeah, this local business. Nope. Is your name Chad? Or is that your
Shag. Shaggy.
Shaggy.
There's a couple of people behind you. Okay. Happy Wednesday. Stick around. Share your feedback with Sinead and Holly. Thanks. Well done, both of you. Thanks for being here. Happy Wednesday. Oh, sorry. One more. See, even me, I get out of it. Jake has been here with miingl. He's been doing our IT and trying to make this work. How many people we have online today?
We had three actually.
We had 3 online. Any
Also,
questions?
we had 3 people online that could mingle with one another, so they're hearing me right now, so you guys can chat with each other. And then we were streaming to 5 different platforms at the same time.
Awesome.
So it went well.
Thanks, miingl. If you can't make it, we're going to post online so you can join. And obviously, technology is still a challenge, but we're working on it. So give us feedback, tell us how it's working, join us online. Thanks, Jake and miingl, for making it happen.
Thank you.